And DeAndre.
Kyrie what?
Kyrie Irving.
Ivan. Is that is he related to that Ivan other guy?
No, he's not.
Allen Iverson.
No, he's not. He's not related to the. That one is Erwin, not Ivan. That's Erwin. A totally different man.
Lights are going up. Oh.
You can put it up.
Lights up.
You can do what you want. Are you?
It's time for some sports here on Smooth 98.1 Smooth Breakfast here with Mairo-Ese
and Valentine.
And Tiger, the Tiger, or Tiger Supreme.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Choose your pick.
After threatening me. What?
Who threatened you?
You will have hot mic. You try me. Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning and welcome to the locker room here on Smooth 98.1. I wish you could go onto YouTube and see what's going on in the studio. It's definitely going to be a hot and fresh Monday morning here. Tega and Valentine literally on their feet to give you some nice sporting news. Yes. I am the lady in here. I'm sitting.
More like sporting jams.
All right.
Yes.
Sporting jams or germs. Germs?
Germs.
Germs. All right. All right. So let's tell you how you can get involved. We already told you we're streaming live on YouTube. That's the best place to be. So subscribe to our YouTube page on Smooth 98.1. Search for it and click the subscribe button and then watch what's going on in the studio.
And send us messages through WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. On Twitter, use that hashtag lockerroom981 when you tweet at Smooth981FM.
Okay, so are you guys ready for the first story, or do you want to dance a little bit?
Always.
All right, okay, let's go. So let's start off in the world of football. Nets to sign Durant, Kyrie, and DeAndre. So free agent All-NBA star Kevin Durant plans to sign a 4-year contract worth up to $164 million to play for the Brooklyn Nets. Durant will join free agents Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan, who also plan to sign with the franchise. Players can officially sign their contracts starting on Saturday. Ivan will sign for 4 years in a deal worth up to $141 million, league sources have said, while Jordan has agreed to a 4-year, $40 million deal, sources have also said.
Well, so it was crazy yesterday. Everybody was in anticipation. The big news was Kevin Durant moving. Oh yes, he's moving. He has no loyalties except to his mother. Yeah, that's the only person that is his friend. And that's the only person he owes any kind of loyalty. So he is moving to the Brooklyn Nets. So is Kyrie Irving leaving Boston and moving to the Brooklyn Nets. You're going to see if they can create a franchise that will win them some NBA championships. Okay. I doubt it because they are both side chicks. But let's see if they will be able to get a ring. So let them go there. Let's see how that works out. I think another big news that we're expecting this weekend was if Kawhi would move. That's another person too that has no loyalties. I don't even know if to his mother. But Kawhi Leonard is staying at the Toronto Raptors. So maybe they're trying to push for back-to-back championship titles. So let's see how that works out for them. And on the Warriors end, after losing Kevin Durant and Boogie Cousins, they were able to retain the core of that team, the team that won the championship for them. So let's see if they will be able to come back, because I think that Kevin Durant quarrel with Draymond Green did fracture the locker room. Not this locker room, their locker room. Yeah. This locker room is fine. So now that he's gone, let's see if they will go back to being the same people. Andre Iguodala is leaving, so of course one part of that team is gone. I don't know how they're going to build, but I do think that they can push for another title this year. So I think from the biggest winners in this window would be the Brooklyn Nets, and the biggest losers would be New York Knicks.
Wow.
With all the noise we're talking about bringing people to New York, there's no Empire State of Mind there. Nothing happened in that place. Nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay. Let's take this one about Super Eagles. Most of you saw the match already. Super Eagles coach Gernot Raw has explained why he has presented three different lineups against Nigeria's group opponents at the ongoing African Cup of Nations in Egypt. In his words, he said, "We have a steady team, not a short team. Everybody has the same chance to play based on the opponents we're playing and also how we want to play. When you have a team that has players with so much quality, you keep changing for better results," according to Raw.
Oh, well, at this particular point in time, I'd say there was a lot wrong with the Super Eagles team. And I have to say this. It's not sometimes just the personnel on the pitch. Maybe it's the way they also play. Because you think about it yesterday, and first of all, I want to say that everybody blaming only Balogun for that first goal, first half goal, shouldn't have. John Ogu passed the ball as if he was taking a shot. First of all, he had the way he had an open view of how exposed the defense was. So perhaps that was not the best pass to make, not the pass to Balogun, and certainly not with the intensity that he passed the ball. And Balogun should have put himself in the position to put his leg through that ball and clear it, not try to guide it. So yes, Balogun did make a mistake, but for me, the error started from when John Ogu decided to make a pass. And speaking of John Ogu, he was completely anonymous. Apart from that assist, he was completely anonymous in the first half. So great,
anonymous player.
Yeah, a great decision to remove him in the second half. However, it wasn't just down to the players that were chosen, it was the tactics, because there was, at every point in time, we had two wingers, whether it was Ahmed Musa and Kalu or Simon and Ahmed Musa, but there was no width for the Super Eagles. And at every point in time, it was Ojo Igalo battling 2 or 3 central defenders. It did not make any sense with having the right players on the pitch, but they were all playing in crazy positions. So again, Genova is going to have to talk to himself, because I don't think it's just the players on the pitch. Is what is the tactics I'm using? What should I keep? Because think about it. If you have your wingers on the pitch and you have no width, then the beginning of the problem is that the tools are not doing the work that they're supposed to do. But if you're an expert and if you're a professional, you cannot blame the tools. You have to blame the person that put the tools on the pitch. So Geneva is going to have to tell himself, what are my tactics? What are my plans? This was Madagascar. This was the game that he was supposed to win. And then he gets to this game and they beat him. It wasn't just that they scored 2 goals. It was that on every part of the pitch, they were the first people to the ball. So they always got to the ball first. They always defended better. Nigeria created 10 chances, one shot at goal. On target, sorry.
And
one shot.
Their set pieces were better.
And they had four shots. They created 4 chances and scored 2 goals. Better efficiency.
In fact, Ojo had something on that one. Ojo on WhatsApp says Madagascar did the I like to move it down.
I'm telling you, twice.
And 2 goals were scored.
We kept talking about this last week. I think I blame a little bit of locker room listeners who were talking about that.
So I think a lot has gone wrong, and if we do, some Ghanaians were laughing at us on Twitter, and this is Ghana that's not even won a single game at this AFCON, and they were laughing.
They should keep quiet.
Thank you.
Aya says on WhatsApp, Tega, have the Super Chickens returned? No, you people now. What were they playing yesterday? I won't see them living in the next round. Guys, these Nigerians are wonderful.
Chukudi says, why again? Why? Does he play Mikel in number position? Why?
And then George says, I looked at Raw CV and I was not impressed. Teams Raw manage, don't play attractive football. I hope he leaves us at the AFCON. We're waiting for this Raw out. Wait until they leave the... All right, okay, let's go on to our next story here. We'll go on to Formula 1. Max Verstappen has kept his remarkable Austrian Grand Prix victory after a steward's investigation into his wheel-banging move on Charles Leclerc. 3 laps from the finish came to nothing. The verdict on Verstappen's move read as follows. The stewards reviewed video evidence, heard from the driver of the car 33, that's Max Verstappen, the driver of car 16, that's Charles Leclerc, and team representatives, and determined the following. Car 33 sought to overtake car 16 at turn 3 on lap 69 by outbraking car 16. Shortly after the late apex, while exiting the corner, there was contact between the 2 cars. In the totality of the circumstances, we did not consider that either driver was wholly or predominantly to blame for the incident. We consider this is a racing incident.
And that's what I've been saying. If you penalize somebody for that kind of overtake, then let us just not watch F1. Cuckoo kiosks. We are not watching again because you're watching 71 lap race and there is nobody actually racing the other person. It is people that are not in cars out strategizing other people, and then their cars get winning. So yesterday, Verstappen did give us, it was such an amazing race. There was no time I wanted to blink because I wasn't sure what I was going to miss. The race started off really poorly for him. So during qualifying, he qualified third.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton had qualified second, but Lewis Hamilton had a penalty, so he had to drop 3 places. Which meant Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, the two of the youngest drivers on the circuit. Well, two of the of the 4 youngest drivers on the circuit, going head to head, and both of them really wanted to win. So I expected them to battle it out. But the race starts, and Verstappen's car stalls. So he drops from second all the way down to 7th. And in that out strategizing somebody, the place was so hot. I think the track temperatures were like 58 degrees centigrade, which meant that there was degradation of tires. There was for Mercedes, they struggled with overheating, which is why they couldn't even compete yesterday. But Verstappen in 7th position. I don't know what got into him after he went in for his pit stop. All I know is that he came out and he started taking off people one after the other. And so it was left to Charles Leclerc, who was at first had a 5-second gap between both of them. Verstappen caught up with Charles Leclerc and then overtook Charles Leclerc. It was the way he did it. He did not push him off the track. He just didn't give him any room to maneuver.
He brought downfall driving to F1.
That was not downfall driving, no. That was Okada riding. But it was beautiful to see, and I was so happy when the stewards came back 3 hours after investigation, by the way, to say that there was no incident. Because if he would have said that there was an incident and they were giving him a penalty, we carry placard today to Austria. Yes, we vex.
All right, well, so that people don't take placards to us.
No, we'll take broom.
Particularly our sponsors. Can we please go on a break? No placards? All right.
No, we can.
All right, we'll come back shortly after this.
We don't need visa now. We carry broom. Don't you have any Benin auntie? Oh yeah, Austria straight. It was amazing, bro. It was an amazing.
But luckily we have a total oil change and car maintenance coming into play, and it's amazing. Thanks to a change of engine oil,
Who is this person?
being given a new lease of life. Absolutely, Mike. The car is now in great shape and is heading on full throttle.
We have a lot of messages.
You know what? I think I need to sit down with a few companies and tell them what adverts it should be.
Why?
There's zero creativity when it comes to adverts.
It's not companies, it's advert agencies, ad agencies.
No, but it's the company that approve now.
It's what they bring to them now. Do you know how many they've gone through before they finally settled on this?
No, they'll say no thank you. Sometimes you write the script yourself because you know what you want to sell. Do you understand? You're the one that determines your identity.
Yeah.
Someone cannot come and tell you who Ayo is.
Whew, man. Okay, so messages. We have messages. Can we touch on some?
No. We'll do Wimbledon first, and then we'll do messages.
Wimbledon, England boss.
Wimbledon first, then Women's World Cup, which is better than the Men's World Cup. That AFCON is making my eye to pain me. That AFCON wants to give me Apollo. The football is so ugly that want to get Apollo. Women's World Cup, beautiful, tactical, technical, impressive.
Guys, obviously, Tega is in a good mood. She's actually interacting with you. That's amazing.
No, I'm just selling a market. For all of you that used to say women's football is not good enough. Now you know better.
Now they know better.
This AFCON. AKA football where they paying for eye. Lakum, why are you taking my pictures without my permission?
Ayo.
Ayo, yes, sir.
Ayo.
Hi, people.
It did?
Yep.
I was talking when it came out.
All right, we're going back in a few seconds. Children of God.
How do you know? That's who we are.
Tega dancing. Wow. I know, right? Guys, something is happening in the studio today.
Girls just wanna have fun.
She said girls will just want to have fun. Girls just want to have suya
It's too early for
sandwich. You when we said suya, it was meant to be at night.
Yeah,
Who
part
said
of
so?
no part of the sweetness is the darkness.
Is the darkness. All right, Mike's on, guys. Yes, indeed. Our Lagos is us. Our Lagos is Smooth 98.1. What is Lagos without Smooth 98.1? You're welcome back to the Locker Room 981. And I am here with Valentine.
Her name is
Mhm.
Ayo. Mairo-Ese.
And beside Valentine, standing beside
Forget that
Valentine. They're intimidating me this morning. Let me
Yeah.
just repeat. Let me
You
just
need to be
report them.
intimidated. It's the first day of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So, 15-year-old American qualifier Corey Golf has said that it is a dream to be facing her idol Venus in the first round of Wimbledon. She says that the Williams sisters were her idols growing up, and that Serena is the reason why I play tennis. Those were her words. She still says, I kind of felt like I was going to play one of them. Many people have been like, do you like your draw? I love my draw. Playing one of the greatest players of all time is a dream. I'm excited to see how I do.
Yes, Wimbledon. Yes. Oh, I like too much. I like
Exciting
sports too
times.
much. I need to move on.
No, it's good.
But it's amazing that she was all over the news. I think on Thursday and Friday when she eventually qualified to play in Wimbledon, and it's so amazing. 15. This is since I think she's the youngest in Open era. So since 1960s, this is the youngest player that has made the Wimbledon draw. So fantastic for her. But she's now been drawn against Venus Williams, and she's so excited
15.
to play against. And Venus is 38, 39.
So yeah, we're calculating.
Yeah, Venus is 39
Yeah,
actually.
Venus and Serena.
So you can.
Double her age plus more.
Thank you. So she's actually. And some people have said she actually plays like Venus. So Serena's watched her, and Serena's like, that big girl reminds me like of Venus.
Venus,
So Serena is that person that, remember when people were comparing Sloane Stephens to Serena, she was like, no, the girl is not like me.
Yeah.
But this girl, Serena is saying she looks like one of our family members. I don't know what it is about this girl, so it's great. But she's just going to go out there and try to have fun. If you ask me, she's younger. Venus has not been in the best of form, so she has a chance. So I'm so excited to watch Wimbledon. Djokovic is playing today. Naomi Osaka is also playing today.
Really?
Oh yes, from 12 o'clock I am done. If you have any phone calls, okay, if you have phone calls that have money, still call
have
me.
to do with money, yes. And of course
But
your
if you just want to ask me how I'm doing, don't bother.
Send a text message.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine from 12 o'clock. I'll be good.
So do you think that this year's Wimbledon should be something exciting that we should look
Oh,
forward to?
it's always exciting. On the women's part, again, I cannot tell you who will win, because that one you just have to toss a dart and any name that comes up can win it.
Yeah. But
Please,
for the men's,
for the men's part, it's still down to the top four: the Nadal, Djokovic,
early to judge.
Federer, and Dominic Thiem. Well, I would replace Dominic Thiem with Sasha Zverev because he's better on grass than Dominic Thiem. But yeah, it's still part of that
Andy
top
Murray,
base.
what's he doing these days?
Andy Murray is not playing the singles because of his just returning from that hip injury. But he did win in Queens last week with Feliciano Lopez, or Deliciano Lopez, like his mother calls him. He did win the doubles, and he'll be playing doubles again this week with Herbert, the French player. So he might, in the third round, play against his own brother, who also plays the doubles, most in general. So that's another interesting sibling matchup as we also look towards the Williams sibling matchup.
They made me want to learn how to play tennis. The Williams sisters.
They made me want to love watching it.
All right.
I just like the grunts and I'm good.
Right. Okay, let's go on to some football. England boss Phil Neville says semi-final defeat would be failure. Head coach Phil Neville says it would be considered a failure if England do not beat the USA to reach the Women's World Cup final. He said nobody cares who loses the semi-final. It's all about winning. No one cares about silver and bronze. It is the gold medal everyone wants.
Okay, so he's right about the way he has pushed the ambitions, because like I said, prior to him, it used to be let's go out there and just try and do our best. Now they have ambitions and they have visions and they have dreams and beliefs, and now he's going to be facing the United States of America. These are the defending champions. It's on Tuesday. This is the strongest team in women's football, and he's saying that if he loses against the strongest team in women's football, then it's a failure. That's arrogance, but that's good arrogance. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I just don't like Phil Neville, but I'm taking that arrogance. I like that belief. It makes you come at the match with no fear.
Yes.
They have nothing to lose. And considering the way that the United States of America has played so far this tournament, they're tricky because sometimes they're playing free-flowing football where they're scoring goals, and at other times they're just managing the game to the end. So they're really deep when it comes to the team selection, when it comes to the way they plan their tactics. America is just great. And so for Phil Neville, it will be fantastic for England to beat the USA.
Yeah.
Remember, they did face off in She Believes Cup, with the one that England won, and it was a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
So because of that game, the English will have that belief that we can take down this.
But don't
United
forget,
States
you
of
also
America.
mentioned the mindset of the English team.
Yes,
Last week we were talking about the fact that that's Neville's sign of
yeah, it's just that
sign of
that might,
leadership.
for me, they're playing on that mindset because I've seen their football. Nothing beautiful about it. It's just effective, and it's that belief that they keep coming at you and they keep coming at you. So the US has a lot of players in their arsenal, but the way that the English have approached this tournament so far is something that is mind-boggling, something that they should teach in classes.
Audrey Adirba says, I'm so glad I didn't watch the match. I saw the highlights and knew it was a colossal waste of precious time.
Oh.
Our WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. We have a message here from Chooks. He said, could you share the link now? That's an old one. We're going to attend to that in a bit.
Later on.
And Big E says, my happy moments for the week is that they are out. Ha! Who am I talking? Who am I talking with the France team? I foresee USA winning again. And as for the Eagles, they better take their time, treat each game as if their lives depended on it.
Oh, he's
In
talking
all
about
their
if
meetings with
Women's
Madagascar,
World Cup.
we've been beating them 2-0. Now they'll turn it yesterday.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the Women's World Cup earlier, about the French team being knocked out, and also the German team shockingly knocked out by Sweden. But yes.
Okay, so that links us to this story. Now, Luis Suarez missed the crucial penalty as Uruguay were knocked out of the Copa America at the quarterfinal stage with a shootout defeat by Peru on Saturday. Uruguay had already been left frustrated by 3 goals that were ruled out during normal time before the match at the Itaipava Arena, Fontenova in Salvador, went straight to penalties at the end of a goalless 90 minutes.
Yes, this was a frustrating match for Uruguay, because think about it, you scored the first goal, cancel. Second goal, cancel. Third goal, cancel.
What?
You just call the community gathering like the Cameroonians in the middle of the pitch.
I just stopped the game.
And this referee's against us. It's racism. But no, it was a tough one for them. And to think that it was against a Peruvian side that normally they would defeat easily. But the Copa America, like I said, has been a struggle. I don't know whether it's down to the fatigue of all the players that are involved in Europe, or maybe other teams have just leveled up to the big names, but it's been such a grind for teams to get out results. And so Uruguay coming up against Peru is not the same as it would have been 3 or 4 years ago. And that's where the struggle was. And then the penalty shootout comes, and Luis Suarez I think he's the first to take his penalty, and he misses. He was thinking that along the lines, maybe one of the Peruvian players will also miss their penalty.
Yeah.
Peru scored all their penalties.
Oh.
And then Luis cried and the whole world laughed. Because, I mean, I think a lot of people do not genuinely like Luis Suarez.
Yes.
So it is people mocking him from all over the world. People that are not even South Americans. People that are not even Africans that will say, okay, we are laughing at him on behalf of Ghana. No, it was people from around the world. They just can't stand the guy. And so they were mocking him and laughing, and the guy was crying because he knows exactly what they wanted to do at this tournament, and he knew it was down to him. But unfortunately, he's out. And so there's a big setup now. So Tuesday is a really good day. USA is playing England, but Argentina is playing Brazil in the Copa America semifinals, and then Chile faces Peru.
Beautiful football to watch.
I want to see it. I'm happy that Neymar is missing it.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, Brazil still has the team, I think, to take out Argentina. Because Argentina haven't really been convincing. So I think Brazil will win. First of all, they're hosts. Secondly, they're playing better football and they have the better team. So let's see how it turns out.
All right, let's see how it turns out. It looks like a very, very exciting week for sports. So this week, do not miss any of the
This Tuesday especially.
Yeah, this Tuesday in particular. But Wimbledon is this week. Everyone is gearing and roaring to go. But we have to go on an ad break. When we come back, we'll take some of your messages and hopefully one more story before we call it a morning with Tega.
Okay, one more
I
story.
say, please don't wish them bad luck. They say they are roaring to go.
Who?
Abby?
Roaring to go on.
Jennifer.
Wow.
Come on, get on. You made it.
Wow. Guys, did you hear what Valentine said? I have to share with you our good family members.
Please, let's read some YouTube messages now.
We have loads of them. Val, they said Val is dripping, by the way. Thank you, Aderoba.
He's
So Val
dripping, huh?
said, I said, they're roaring to go. Val now said, please, I should not wish them bad luck. I didn't get it. I was like, what do you mean? I thought, okay, my brain is a bit slow, but like this morning, but what's going on? I said they're roaring to go, like, I shouldn't wish the Super Eagles bad luck, because like they're not roaring to go. So going after the tournament. Can you imagine Dry Jokes Monday?
Wow.
Let me tell you, I don't know why it's feeling your
Ayo's
native.
nails? Have you seen my nails? Give me my nail polish.
Please explain to them what you really mean by that. So nobody thinks
That
that
you're owing our nail polish. Don't worry, we know. We know.
my phone.
Don't worry, we know. You guys, please save all the numbers that have come. We have over 50 numbers. Please save them. Okay, because I can see many of them. They are not being saved.
Numbers are coming. Numbers for what?
So we're just put up a video. So people wanted to, that's what they couldn't see. That's what they say on your name so that we can add you and can see our WhatsApp update. And that's helping us to build our community and increase.
Okay.
So like tons of them. If you know, you never know if these people are listening. Like we have over about 60 messages. Add me. So I was like, okay, now we're wasting that we don't have their names, how to add them. Now they send their names. Please let's make sure we add them. I don't even mind sitting and doing it, it's just that I can't do it while I'm on there. Yeah. They've been doing it since Business Express 981. Okay, who did the last story? You did, Abby? So which one out of the stories? Take Abby. Oh, okay, you did. No, who did it?
I beg, read the people's messages. Mbok, leave all this.
No, you're not gonna deal with Suarez now.
Read the people's messages.
But you're gonna say one story now.
I don't want again, I beg.
Okay, we're coming up now. And looking like, okay, all right, let's not sing. It's sports time. It's not a reality singing competition. You're welcome. This is Locker Room 981. I'm Ayo.
I am Valentine.
And Tega is here, so she's so proud. Can't introduce herself. All right, let's go on to some of your comments here. A number of people are talking about football, but let's go to YouTube. Shout out to our YouTube fam. We really, really love you. We have this one here from Ibrahim Hassan, who had said, Mad Max Danfo driver, awesome driving, sad for Hamilton and the Mercedes as a whole. And then official article says, Tega dancing. Wow. Kaide Peters has something to say. He says, why do you guys always put Tega where we can't see her? This is racism. LOL.
Yes, he's racism. Racism.
It does not qualify.
She's the one who doesn't want to be seen.
Jonathan says, Tega, to me, USA might have got the best team, but England are best so far as the Women's World Cup. Better luck. Okay. Mobolaji says, imagine coming home on Sunday from church after praying. There's light, but there isn't. Well, so you rush to buy fuel only to come and lose the match. Okay.
That's it.
Sorry. Our coach says, I really want England to beat USA. I mean, since the Ojore against Spain, I want them out.
Wow. Okay.
WhatsApp messages. We have this. Oh,
Chimobi says Luis Suarez succeeding in sending Uruguay packing from the Copa America. He should better quit from football.
No.
Is it first to miss penalty?
No, it's not fair. All right, so Chukwudi says, I had a strong feeling that it was not the Nigerian way to qualify without drama. Clean sheet, 9 points, but my fear was so it would be Madagascar. Madagascar.
How do you spell it?
Yeah.
9 letters plus 1.
All right, so Stan is saying well done to you, Tega. Her name is Tega.
Yes.
And then one more comment before we go.
Oh, yes. We can squeeze this one in from Taya. Taya sends this from Yaba. It says Super Eagles with attention, just like that. Her 2 goals out of 2 matches were cancelled in 19 minutes.
I'm telling you.
Somebody else sent in that message. Saw the message.
Did you hear that?
They made us go home with 2.
And Shika, yeah. All right. Sorry, Shay says it's better than Raw. I have to say this one. He said as a coach, it's better than Raw. And why I would see me and Oyekuru on the bench. Why can't he tweak his formation? He's too stubborn. Ghana would beat nonsense from us.
Yeah, he should have, at least for this third match,
Yeah.
should have tried Osimi and Henry
He's
Onyekuru.
the
Oh, yeah,
coach who
true.
makes his decision.
Yeah. All right, Lagos, thank you so much for being such a fantastic group of listeners. And thanks to Tega. Tega is at Tega Supreme on Twitter. Follow her. She has some really interesting analysis during live games. All
Yes,
kinds
you
of
should.
sports. And then, of course, LIS International at LIS International. Ladies in Sport, you can see what she's doing with her work with women in sport. In particular, there's a conference coming up this month.
Yeah,
Yay.
registration is open today, so
Yay!
Officially, 1st of
So
July.
Make sure you
Where-
go and
where can they
register.
register?
I should go to at LIS.
LIS International and follow the link there and register. Is it free to register?
Oh yes.
Oh wow, it's absolutely free.
That's our start.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go on a music break. When we come back, it'll be time for Lagos Talks 981. The first time during the show when we open the phone lines. You people are getting ready to talk about Ruga settlement or something else. Let's see.